Look at the deputy president. Anatolewa within 14 days. By this week, he will have been impeached by Senate. We want to tell all our MPs, you can have your field day. You can sacrifice people at the altar of political expediency and whatever you are given. Even look at the senators, whatever you can say. But let me tell you, Wanjiku on the ground is very serious about what is happening. And we just want to tell you people, it is high time as leaders, you must uphold the Constitution of Kenya. But Wanjiku will not forget, and maybe at the right time will punish you badly for what you have done against one individual. It is not about Gachagua. But at the end of the day, as Nakuru people, on the ground, as we listen, people are saying no to impeachment of Gachagua. So, Madam Senator, just here, that is what we are saying. My name is Benson Masharia. I'm a human rights activist and accountability actor within Kenya, and in particular on issues of constitutionalism. And we have been observing this matter of impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua with a lot of awe, with a lot of amazements, looking at how the whole process has been handled by our parliament and especially the National Assembly. We saw the kind of charges that were brought forward, and himself, the deputy president, was able to come forward and be able to clarify almost all the charges and trying to ask if there is any compelling evidence to be brought against him so that he can be impeached. We want to say that as a human rights activist, it is not just about Gachagua, but it's about the constitutionality and the Bill of Rights as enshrined by our Constitution. That we must be subjected to fair trial. We must be given an opportunity even to undergo all the processes before we reach to those levels. First, I must say this. We expected that if indeed, in the man of Geoffrey Rigathi Gachagua, he has done some of these, and especially issues of corruption, we expected that right now as we speak, he should be before all the investigative agencies, summoned, recorded, and actually charged, and actually taken to a court of law and convicted for that matter. We cannot say that this DCI, EACC, and National Intelligence have failed to adduce any evidence that can take him to court so that he can go and be tried by members of parliament. Let me say that we are shocked that in this parliament of Kenya, some of the MPs, they have done atrocity against Kenyans. Leave alone Gachagua even inheriting the property of his brother and even being told a tribalist. Let us talk about some of these MPs who have actually killed. Talk about this guy called Kagombe from Gatondo. This guy killed people in broad daylight. He shot. That person died. The man was arrested and only to be released. And now is the one ranting and shouting in parliament that Gachagua should go. We are so shocked that our country has been reduced into observers, that fundamental rights and freedoms as enshrined in our constitution are not respected anymore. Look at people like Akinaisha Jumwa. They kill people. They still went ahead and become CSS. Look at this other guy called Didmus Baraza, the MP for Kimilili. He shot somebody. And these people are the ones who are now ranting. We know they have the hangman's noose on them. That is why they are behaving by jumping up and down, making sure that they subject Rigathi Gachagua to this ridicule of being impeached. I just want to talk to Kenyans and tell them, we are just, as a country, lowering the threshold for impeachment of any other person. Look at all our MPs who has misbehaved, like even the MP who was jailed for 67 years. And that guy still continues, Waluke. He continues to be the MP for Sirisia, and nobody has ever even told him to resign. This charade that has been brought forward by this country, we must tell the president, today it might be Rigathi Gachagua, but you are not in control of MPs. Tomorrow things may change, and these people may decide for you to go home. What will you do? When we keep lowering the threshold, look at the deputy president. Anatolewa within 14 days. By this week, he will have been impeached by Senate. We have looked even him being subjected to the whole process. Already even Wetangula, the Speaker of the National Assembly, had a predetermined idea about how he was going to handle it. Gachagua was taken down. He has been mauled by our MPs. They were running up and down. And of course, they had their day. It's good. They have had their day. Also this week, we want to know, even the senators will have their day. We know they are going to sacrifice Gachagua. Let us not lie to ourselves. This is a political process. And because it's a political process, it has been handled politically. And we want to tell Kenyans, okay, politically they will win. But now, our major battle now goes to the judiciary, where we hope that the judiciary of Kenya will uphold the fundamental rights of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua of being subjected to a fair trial. Not the way we saw the charges were trumped up. At the end of the day, the way they were mismanaged within a very short time, there was a lot of charade. And yet here, we are clapping. I want to tell the leadership of this country, as civil society actors within Kenya, we are watching and we shall be enjoying in so many of these civil suits within the judiciary. Let us now square it there, so that if the truth will come out that indeed Rigathi Gachagua is guilty or as charged, then we will let him go. Because at the end of the day, he will have been subjected under the judiciary and we will have observed the whole process. Maybe in court, the government, even the president and his men, will adduce more evidence that they are not telling us as Kenyans. But we want to say, we cannot mob lynch a person in the name of just carrying out a political process, but we are hoping that the judiciary, even with the constitution of the bench as requested to the Chief Justice, will take place. We want to tell all our MPs, you can have your field day. You can sacrifice people at the altar of political expediency, and whatever you are given, even look at the senators, whatever you can say. But let me tell you, Wanjiku on the ground is very serious about what is happening. And we just want to tell you people, it is high time as leaders, you must uphold the constitution of Kenya. But Wanjiku will not forget, and maybe at the right time will punish you badly for what you have done against one individual. It is not about Gachagua, but it is about the whole process. Because if, lastly, today, again, somebody within the executive decide maybe one of us is not a Kenyan, for example, like Laira, I'm just using as an example, and they say he's a Ugandan, and he's supposed to be thrown there, who will stand up for him? Is it the 300 people will have been convinced, or is it Kenya's constitution that will uphold or will overtake whatever will happen? So we are not happy, but we are just saying we are going to follow this process to the end, and we want the courts to make sure that they uphold the principle of fundamental rights by ensuring that the Bill of Rights for all Kenyans, regardless of their position, is upheld and protected under Kenyan law and also the international law. Thank you.
Now, what is the next forward for Gachagua after impeachment? Your opinion?
I think for me, even if Gachagua is impeached today, but at the end of the day, the courts do not uphold the impeachment, I think for him, he will not be any other person in this country. You cannot just wish that support, because he has drawn support all over the country. Considering that, he was accused of even supporting the Gen Zs. And you see these people, this was issue about finance bill. We also expect for Gachagua, even if he is going to go home, let him now stand up as the accountability actor within the country of Kenya. He will now be the opposition the country now needs right now. Even as a country, we undergo the problems of Adani takeover within the airports and also the Keroche transmission lines. We also hope that now the issues of Chief and Shah and whatever these shares they have will come out, and so that he can now start speaking against these things without fear of any reprisal for whatever matter. But at the end of the day, we hope that Gachagua will also, just like yesterday we heard him saying that he is going to uphold whatever will be taken, but he's calling Kenyans for peaceful coexistence. Let us know that this is not a person who just push over, because he was there for President Ruto We were there, we saw what he did during that time. And we hope that he will still do it and stand up for this country. Even make sure that Kenyans are not suffering through demolitions and evictions. And right now, the way they are being sacrificed, right, left, and center. My message to the senator, I would just like to ask the senator that, I will just want to say that to Senator Keroche, that maybe at this particular time, you may have called stakeholders, they have sat with you down, they have advised you on the way forward, because we have heard in other quarters, you have said that they have actually advised you. But what I would have asked you as our senator is also go back to the conscience and understand what is it really, when you look at it, does it really satisfy and fulfill the threshold that will have presented and the evidence you have as Senate? Then you will have voted according to your conscience. Otherwise, we don't want regrets later, whereby maybe you will have made a decision and then you come to regret that actually you have not been that person that Nakuru people expected you to present. You need to consult widely, consult further, so that you listen. What is the ground saying? Not leaders next to you, not other people whom we think are maybe surrounding the president. But what we are saying is, what are Nakuru people saying? Let us just be honest. If the ground is saying, maybe you can go against, but at the same time keep your life, and at the same time you continue to be our leader. But if we are not going to see any proper and serious engagement whereby you are going, you can only give your advice. But at the end of the day, as Nakuru people, on the ground, as we listen, people are saying no to impeachment of Gachagua. So, Madam Senator, just here, that is what we are saying. Thank you.